guys, today's a new day and I want to make a video a little bit about my daily routine and how I go about my day, or I guess how I live my life to a certain degree. Just a little bit of information that I want to share with you guys because I think it's good to share each other's experiences, and then people can learn from each other in that way and see what works for someone might work for another, or what works for someone else might not work for another. So I just think it's good to share this kind of information. Now, I'm in a different location. I'm currently in an RV and I'm transitioning from location to location. So that's a little update. You can see my crystals and my aloe vera plant over there in the background, but I just wanted to share a bit my daily routine. So this is my little book that I'm using for now, and it says slow down and enjoy life, which is a great reminder, and I like that. And I'll start off with the morning, where I don't sleep a lot, as in like I don't sleep 10 hours or something crazy like that. I don't seem to need a lot of sleep, and basically it works for me. So I might get an average of 6 to 7 hours of sleep depending on the day. And I have a lot of energy and I feel really good because I'm not oversleeping as well, and I'm not really undersleeping. So I'm getting enough hours that work for my body. Now, as soon as I wake up, I okay, I'm gonna put in a little bit of spirituality in here, or like some things that I do as someone who is empathic and sensitive. There are certain things that I do in order to protect myself, or to just have a good barrier or boundaries, and especially in the morning. Uh, as I am a vivid dreamer, I recall my dreams every night, so I'm constantly aware of my dreams. It's like I'm not fully asleep because I'm constantly aware of these dreams. So, what I've experienced from these dreams, when I wake up, I want to cut any cords or ties to anything that doesn't serve my highest and greatest good that I've experienced during my dreams from the night. So, whether it's past life recall or memory recall of whatever, anything from that, as soon as I wake up, I cut cords and ties with that because I don't want that to affect the rest of my day. So that's something that is good to do to protect yourself, or to just detach from those things so they don't drag on onwards, especially the negative things. If you've, you know, so that's one thing that I do that is important for me. And I also do a protection bubble as soon as I wake up. So I put that kind of extra barrier around me for general protection, psychic protection, empathic protection, whatever you want to call it. For me, it's just general protection that I like having throughout the day. Now, once I've done those two things, I do mantras. Now, mantras for me are constant phrases or prayers, however you wish to call it. There are many labels to this. I recite these things within my mind. You can say it out loud as well, but I like saying it within my mind and not always out loud. It's usually just in my head that I say these constant phrases. That it can be any kind of phrase. It can be I'm sovereign, I'm safe, I'm protected, or anything that you need at that time is suitable. So I have my own phrases that I constantly use, and I use them throughout the whole day, but I like using it right in the morning as soon as I'm aware that I'm awake and I'm up and running. I use my mantras. It keeps my mind focused. It keeps me clear-headed as well to a degree, and it makes sure that my mind doesn't take over. I want to have my mind as a tool that I use when I need to think certain things, But then for the rest of the time that don't need it for thinking or figuring something out or whatever, I can use mantras to fill in that gap or space to keep a constant concentration. If not, at some point, I can also think about nothing as well and just absorb what I'm experiencing around me. That I do in meditation as well. And also throughout the day, sometimes I give myself those moments. So after the mantras, well, the mantras are throughout the whole day, but it's just a starting point for the day, apart from cutting cords and a protection bubble. Now, one thing that I find important as well is finding 10 things that you are grateful for. So when I wake up, I put my hands together like this, not necessarily like praying, or you can do whatever you want, whatever feels comfortable. But I feel like this for me is like I'm grateful for something. So it just feels comfortable for me. So I put my hands together and I look for 10 things that I'm grateful for. If I can find more than 10 things that I'm grateful for, perfect, even better. If you cannot find 10 things that you're grateful for, that's something to work on. Even just having at least one thing that you're grateful for, perfect, great start. Start building on to that, and you can keep adding one more thing that you're grateful for. Find those things that you're grateful for. It can be anything. It can be the food in your stomach, or the food on your table. It can be clean water. It can be the sun, anything, literally anything. And it just gives me a nice start to the day because it gives me things to be grateful for, and I find more things that I'm grateful for. The simplest things, and then yeah, it's just being happy for what you have. So that's something I like for giving me a good start to my morning and to my day, because then I don't focus on the negative things that I'm not grateful for. I focus on the things that I am grateful for, and it just keeps expanding. I keep finding more things that I'm grateful for. That's where I put my focus. Now, the other thing I do is meditation. Now, you don't have to meditate for hours and hours and hours on end. Some people can't do this. I know that. I know some people that cannot sit still. It's a thing. So it's something that you can do it even for 1 minute, meditation. You can do walking meditation. You can do sitting on a chair meditation. You can be laying on the floor meditation. It's just giving you a moment of clarity and peace within your mind, and not constantly letting your mind rattle on all the time. For me, I like to try to do half an hour if I can. If not, I can do 15 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. It doesn't matter, because for some people, if you focus too much on you have to do a certain time, it makes it harder for some people. So it's better just to think of it as a moment of peace and giving yourself space and a time of rest, like getting rid of everything in your morning, anything of work, anything of those thoughts of like whatever you did, or just it's like detaching from things around you in order to find that peace within. And it's a nice thing to do. So I think it is something that is beneficial to do. And what I like doing is I can sit in a sitting pose, whichever pose is comfortable for you. I sit cross-legged. I sometimes have a little bit of a support pillow or something behind my back so that I can completely relax backwards a little bit. But this is just personally for me, I enjoy doing that. You can do it however you want to, whatever's comfortable for you. Then I close my eyes. I put my hands in a comfortable position. There are hand mudras that you can do, and whatever positions, that's up to you, personal choice if you wish to do something like that. And for me, I like letting absorbing the things around me in the sense of like letting in the sounds of the birds, the sound of the wind, listening to all the things around me, not judging it, not thinking about it, just letting it happen, and observing my thoughts to a point where my thoughts don't need to be constantly coming in anymore. And then it's just that sense of clarity. And then it's like peace, where it's like my mind is not rattling because I'm just present in the moment and I'm allowing these things to be coming to me rather than me fighting the sounds around me or blocking out things out of my head. It's just giving you a moment of being fully present and relaxed. So that's for me what I do with meditation. It gives me a moment to be completely just one with everything, relaxed, surrendering, and yeah, I would recommend it. And the other thing I do after meditation, I do breath work. Now, I use the Wim Hof method. You can search it up. He's a very well-known Dutch man. I'm half Dutch, actually. I don't know if you can notice by the accent, but he is a Dutch man. He's sometimes called the Iceman. This guy is incredible. I love his breath work method, and I use it. It doesn't take long to do. I think maybe 10 to 11 minutes to do. It's 3 rounds of breath work, and I really notice a difference. So I completely recommend that for people who might be interested in trying something like breath work. There are many types of breath work. So there's not only the Wim Hof method, there's so many. You can research it and look for one that you might want to try. I do recommend trying it if you haven't tried it already. So I do the Wim Hof method. It gives me a lot of energy and like focus and just feels really good. And then I'm just looking at my book because I have it listed down as a reminder. Now, I like to stretch in the morning as well. I make sure to stretch all the parts of my body as much as I can. Doesn't have to be perfect all the time, just like stretching your full body upwards, going side and then to the other side, stretching downwards to reach your toes. I can't reach my toes yet. I'm working on that. So going backwards, putting your leg as high as possible upwards and backwards and then to the sides, just helping with the flexibility of the body. And it's like a little mini workout. So it's a good thing to do as well. I don't really do yoga. I am curious about trying yoga on a more serious level, but this is my stretching then. I think yoga is technically stretching to a degree. So I do a mini stretching in the morning. I'm trying to do the splits. That's something I'm working on. So that is kind of fun. Now, after that, this is a fun part, cold showers. So normally when I take a proper shower, like shampooing my hair, cleaning my body, that's like that I start lukewarm. I never do hot showers. I start with a lukewarm to cold, and then so I do the shampooing and everything. And then when I'm finished with rinsing off, or I'm ready to rinse off, I go cold. So I do the cold at the end and I rinse everything off and I stay in the cold water for as long as I can, slowly going colder and colder as much as I possibly can. And it helps with persistence and persevering through the cold, mind over body. And it just helps with my mental strength and being able to push myself to see how much limitation I do have and pushing over that limitation that I do have. And also using the power of the mind, because our minds are so strong. There is a Buddhist practice, I think it's called Tumo. It's, if I don't know if I pronounce it right, but it is something I find interesting, where it's like you're building up the warmth in your body. And that is, I mean, it's something incredible. These monks are, I adore them. I love them. They're very inspiring, great people. And I like using some of their methods, like, well, they meditate, and I'll get onto the food and things like that as well. But yes, cold showers, it wakes me up, gives me energy. It practices the mental strength, persevering through the outer exterior things that you're experiencing. So, you know, you're making your body much stronger, and you're also helping with being able to regulate your body's temperature through the mind. So it's something interesting I like playing around with. Now, um, when I'm not doing the shampooing and body cleansing, I take a mini cold shower in the morning every day. And it does make a difference for me. I recommend trying cold therapy or cold showers. I've heard people doing cryo chambers or things like this. I have not tried one yet, but I think it would be interesting, cryotherapy. But yes, it's something that people might be like, ooh, cold water and cold showers. But it works. It helps with the immune system as well. So why not try it and see how it goes? Now, my other thing, connecting with nature. Nature is so beautiful. I love it. I, I feel emotional now because it really is very beautiful. And I try to observe as much as I can around me, absorbing in and observing nature, just falling leaves falling from, just watching leaves falling from the trees and looking how the sunshine, how the light goes through the trees and it's just, it's something nice and relaxing and peaceful, connecting with the trees. I take a little hike into the forest. Of course, there are some bears here, so I take a stick with me just in case. I have a knife on me as well for protection reasons. So it keeps me alert, but I still get to relax and enjoy the trees and the nature and see all these spiders and cool butterflies, and it's beautiful. And mushrooms, now it's mushroom season. I get to see all these kind of mushrooms, but I don't know what they are. That's something I want to learn about for foraging. And it is really peaceful. Now, in terms of that, if you don't have access to a forest or to a park, um, even having plants in your home. So I have my little aloe vera plant there, very cute. My dad gave it as a gift. And just connecting with your plant, I mean, I would consider that connecting with nature as well, because they are connected to that, right? So apart from that, grounding, whenever I can, I like going barefoot as much as I can. I don't really enjoy closed toe shoes as much anymore. My feet don't feel comfortable in that. I've been walking barefoot for a long time, and I have barefoot shoes as well, and I use sandals to compromise for not wearing enclosed shoes. So there's a nice tree here that I get to, there's a little spot of dirt and grass where there's not glass, because unfortunately in the forest there's a little pieces of glass, so I can't walk barefoot there. Now, where the big nice tree is, I can take off my sandals and I can have my feet barefoot onto the ground connected, and it feels really comfortable. Now, you can do this at the beach as well. If you have a beach, walking barefoot on the sand, as long as it's not too hot for you, sometimes the sun can make it really hot, the sand, that feels amazing, and it's very beneficial as well, because you're connecting directly to the earth, to Gaia, or however you wish to call her, or, well, let's not put genders because that can be an issue for some people as well. So to earth. And my other thing is I do intermittent fasting. Now I've done this for over a year straight. I think it's a little bit more than over a year right now. And it works for me, and I feel good. I'm not constantly eating all the time. I have a certain period of time within that I choose in order to have one sitting, and I eat one main meal. Now, that can range between 11 a.m. and latest 7 p.m. That's my parameter of like where I try to keep it within. And I sit down and I have a big main meal with everything, like all the things that I can possibly eat that I feel that I need at that time. I eat it in one sitting, like a giant salad bowl with nuts, seeds, all the vegetables, you name it, a fruit smoothie with all, yeah, just everything. I really enjoy it. Now, I do allow myself to have some nuts or dry fruit snacks after a main meal if I really need it. I do not deprive myself from that. So I am strict, but I am also understanding of what my body needs as well. So I try to eat a variety of all the colors. I believe that if you can eat all the colors, like something that's blue, like blueberries, they're considered blue. Um, Something that's green, leafy green, something that's red, tomatoes, all these kind of things, because that adds a lot of variety. Eating things that are organic if possible. If they're local, even better, because you're supporting local people and the local diet and uh, local plants that are in your area also is very beneficial for your body, but also having just a generic variety. So not eating only apples every day, adding some bananas or adding some passion fruit or things like this gives a bit of variety and different nutrients and vitamins and things like this that your body needs, right? And so that you don't get bored of your food as well. Now, I won't get too deep into what I eat or how I eat. I will mention that I do intermittent fasting. I will do another video about food or my food journey, how it evolved, because this video will be too long if I go into that. Now, after that, I like trying to do a little bit of channeling or light language. It can be also writing light language or light codes, just to get me flowing, get me the energy flowing without judging what I'm speaking when I am doing light language, and without judging what I'm drawing when I am writing light language and things like this. It helps practicing non-judgment towards what you're creating or what you're bringing through you, which is like channeling basically, and putting my analytical mind or my judgmental mind to the side. So I find that that is a good practice to do as well. And the other thing that I do, there are many things that I do, but one thing that I have been trying to implement as of late is doing something like martial arts or qigong or qigong, however you wish to pronounce it. Doing some form of bodily movement that is not just stretching, a little bit more active. You can do boxing, you can do other things like this, something a little bit more active, whatever feels good for you. I'm currently looking at Shaolin monks. They're very interesting to me. And looking a little bit into Qigong, or like the flowing, going with the flow of the energy of the body movement, and it feels very relaxing doing that. I'm practicing some martial arts movements on my own, so it might not be very accurate, but I'm doing my best. I'm using, for example, a stick to practice with, doing some movements, and I feel it makes my body more alert and getting to know my body, getting to understand this physical vessel. So apart from getting to understand the mind and how to more or less have control of it, or being more aware of what you're thinking and what you're doing and so on, it's also apart from having a strong mind, I want to have a strong body so that it is balanced, right? So these are just some of the things I do, some of the practices that I do on a daily basis. I do my best to adhere to this as much as I can, unless there's some other things that, school or work or other things that also comes into play. But I just wanted to share this because other people might be interested in trying some of the things I mentioned. And also, I am curious about if you guys have any practices or things that you want to share with me, and you can write that down in the comments. I would be very interested to see that. Other people might be interested to see that, and we can share these experiences or practices that we do and see what works and see what doesn't work for some people. And it's just something interesting to do, right? So this is basically the video for today. And if you can like, subscribe, and comment comment about your experiences and your practices, that would be very helpful for my small channel. And I hope you have a nice day.